What if I told you you only need one light to create professional cocktail photos like this? And not just cocktails, this works for food, products, even portraits. And here's the crazy part. The photos you just saw, those sample photos, were taken with a $100 camera. Because the real secret is in the light. When you can control the light, your camera barely matters. So today I'm gonna show you my one light setup technique and why the Neewer Z3R makes this incredibly easy. And yes, Neewer sent me this flash to test it out and make a couple videos, but there's many reasons why this thing is perfect for a shot like this. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Charles Wollertz. This is Wollertz Photography, and here we talk about all things photography, but always with a little bit of stock photography in mind. Because let's be honest, who doesn't want to make a few extra dollars with their photos? A huge thanks to Neewer for sponsoring this week's video. About 15 years ago, I tried to replicate a style, a photo I saw in a magazine. It was, the rim of the glass was glowing and everything else was just faded into black and darkness, like it just disappeared. You just saw the rim and it was beautiful. And I had no idea how they did it. And literally I tried everything. I tried multiple lights, umbrellas, cubes, everything I could think of I tried. I had a full studio and I tried everything and I failed miserably. I got reflections everywhere, and you can even see the camera in the front of the glass, like the opening of the cube I was using. It was just terrible. Now, I still uploaded those photos to stock sites, and somehow I made a couple $100 from those photos, which was awesome, but it still wasn't the look I was going for. Fast forward to today. By the way, how many of you even get that reference? That's from like VCR and cassette tapes. I'm turning 40 next week. Should I retire that one? Better rewind and fast forward. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Today, with one light and better control, the results are completely different. And here's all I used was one light with a big softbox, a couple of black cards like these that you can cut up. They're literally just cardboard, black cards or black foam board or whatever. You can cut them up. Or if you want to get a little bit more intense, you can use something that's a little bigger. These are the 3-in-1 reflectors that I buy and use a lot. But literally, a card like this is pretty much all you need. Well, as far as the black cards. So the softbox, the flash, a black card, and that's it. Maybe some tape to hold things together. Oh, and your subject, which in this case I used a water thing with olives in it, so it looks like a martini, and the Manhattan that I also use for these photos. The black card is the secret because it blocks the light and it shapes what's left into the rim of your subject. And now this is where the Z3R really helps. First of all, it's got 100 watt second power, which means that you can shoot at small apertures like f11 and still get proper exposure. That'll give you good depth of field, so you can see through and through of the drink and give you really good detail. You could always open it up if you want to, but that means you have flexibility. You can if you want to. Then there's the recycle time. It's about 1.7 seconds at 100% power. So you don't have to wait between shots. And then there's the modeling light on the head, which lets me preview exactly what the light is doing before I even take a photo. There's other modeling lights here in the front, but that's irrelevant to this story because I want to see where the light is going to hit. So I'm looking at the light on the head. Did I mention that it's dimmable and has 10 brightness levels, which makes shaping light way easier without having to flash it first? So if you're really dark, you might want to dim it, especially if you're doing video, or just to get the idea like I did here. I'm also using this off camera, and for that I use this trigger right here. This is the QZ by Neewer. But if you have a Godox system, the Godox 2.4G system, it's also compatible with that, so you have options. Now the technique. I've got a large softbox, I'm using it right now for the video, and I place it, the black card, literally just like that, just blocking the light as close as I can to that softbox. I cut it out so it's slightly bigger than the subject. See, I got a couple here. This one's a little bit bigger, and it's like 2 or 3 times bigger than the subject. That's really not that important, as long as it's a little bit bigger. And here's what's interesting. If you move your subject closer to the background, it's gonna look darker. And if you move it closer to the camera, it's gonna get brighter. Remember, the camera and the light are in opposite directions. You're literally shooting into the light, and you're using the black card to block that light and to shape your subject. You're basically controlling your exposure with the distance. Now, depending on your lens, you may need extra black cards to block that light spilling into your lens. And what do I mean by that? Okay, let's say this is the black card. So you block, it's got the QR code. This is the black card. So you're gonna have light coming from the sides. If you can't zoom in enough so that you only see the card, let's say your subject is right here, but you're getting the edges, that light's gonna spill onto your lens. By zooming in, it's gonna compress the background and make it all about the subject and the black. But if you have light coming around it, it's gonna spill onto your lens. So you could use another card or two to block that light, literally just block the light, and then you can crop later, but that's gonna avoid those highlights and the glare on your lens itself. But like I said, the telephoto helps a lot because it literally compresses the background. Now, there's a huge difference between the photos I just showed you and what I did many years ago. Back then, that light was everywhere. Like I said earlier, there were reflections, there was no contrast, it was just kind of dull, and it was like grayish, and you couldn't really get that detail that I was looking for, the rim light that I was looking for. Now, one light, controlled, clean, and intentional, it looks so much better. By the way, where did it go? By the way, if any of this sounds complicated to you and you need a little bit more help with the basics of photography, remember that I have a complete photography course available here on YouTube and on my website as well. And I also have my photography booklets if you want to learn a little bit more about the basics or the commercial side of things, or on the field guides with all the cheat sheets. Anyway, with that shameless plug out of the way, let's get back to the video. So this is the same idea I had before, but the results are way better. No weird reflections, clean highlights, a soft rim around the subject, and minimal gear. Literally, this is all from one light. Now, technically, you don't even need a flash. You could do it with a cob light or even a flashlight, but your shutter speed is gonna be like 20 or 30 seconds, which means don't even walk, don't breathe, because any movement is gonna ruin your photo, it's gonna be blurred. I'm upstairs right now, so any movement literally shakes everything. With a flash, that's not a problem. You don't even need a tripod. You can just walk around and take pictures. Now, the other thing, if you're not using a flash, is you have to be very careful with other ambient light coming in, because that's gonna interfere with your subject. When you're using a flash, it really doesn't. I had other lights in here just to help me focus, and there's a quick test you can do. Take a shot at f11, ISO 100 or 200 of a second. Take a photo without the flash. If the image is completely black, that's perfect. That means that the ambient light is not affecting your shot. If there's any light coming in, then you have to take care of that. But if there isn't any reflections or nothing on your subject, then you're good. And that's why flash photography is more powerful, because it is awesome. It literally blocks out any other light, so you only have to worry about this one. Okay, now another thing that I want to share with you is when I was taking pictures of the Manhattan, the drink, you can see that it looks dark because there's no light coming through it. So it's just literally gonna look black. There's no glow, and you want that to pop, you want it to glow. So what I did is I cut out the bottom of one of the cards and left a hole in it so light can come through. And now that makes the drink glow and pop, which is what you want, especially if you're trying to sell things for stock photography. But anyway, let's get back to the martini. Because we're using a flash, we can freeze action. Like the olives falling into the drink or dripping vodka back into the martini. Now, here's the trick. If you're using your flash at full power, that could introduce motion blur into that photo, because that light duration is going to be a lot longer. That's what full power does. So you could lower the intensity of that flash to, let's say, 1/4 to 1/8, and raise your ISO to 200 or 400 maybe. Or in the case of this flash, the Z3R, the Neewer Z3R, you can use the high-speed sync. It goes all the way up to 1/8,000 of a second. But honestly, just lowering the power, the intensity of the flash, it's a way better move in my opinion, especially when you're in a controlled environment like a studio and you just want to freeze the action with a smaller aperture. The high-speed sync, I'd rather use when I'm outside and I'm trying to get depth of field. It's still used to flash, but I want that blur in the background. But anyway, there's multiple ways you can do this. Even at slower shutter speeds, that flash itself is gonna freeze the action. Look at this example. This is 1 second exposure and the action is frozen by the flash. This one light setup is simple, powerful, and incredibly versatile. And yes, I'm honestly impressed by the Z3R. Normally for something like this, I would use a larger strobe like the Q200 or the Q6, something that has a lot more power. But this was great. I mean, with 100 watt-second power, that fast recycle speed, I used it at 100% for quite a while and it did fantastic. The battery life was way more than enough. I got well over 400 photos and it did really, really well. The images, I mean, they look fantastic. You can shoot hundreds of photos without stopping. And the best part is that once you understand the lighting, you can get completely different shots using the same techniques. The lighting is just one part of the angle, the composition and the interest on your photo, that's on you. Thanks so much for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And I thought I had something else to say, but see, that's what happens when I start talking. I have a hard time stopping and doing it again. All right, I'm done. I'm done. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. For real this time. Let me know what you think in the comments. Bye. Thank you so much to all of you members. You guys are awesome. Okay, bye.